If you've been thinking about working with brands as a content creator this year, one imperative thing that you'll need is a media kit. I've talked about media kits a lot on my channel before, but they really are so important if you're looking at getting paid sponsorship deals with brands, or if you're looking at pitching out to certain brands as a content creator to work with them. A media kit is essentially a snapshot or summary of your content creation, and I really believe that every content creator should have one. So whether you've got 500 subscribers or 50,000 subscribers, in today's video, we're going to get into how you can create a media kit and specifically the most important information you should be including. But if you're new here, hi, my name is Kaylee and I'm a beauty and fashion photographer based near Sydney, Australia. But I'm also a content creator and I started this channel a few years ago to talk about all things social media, content creation, business, and freelancing. And as I mentioned in this video, I'll be showing you how you can create your own media kit. Now, to build this media kit, we're going to be utilizing Picsart, which also happens to be this video's sponsor, but a little bit more on them later. So we're first going to talk about just a couple of points which might be important to consider for your media kit even before you begin. Now, one of those things I think is important to really consider is how you want it to look, especially if you've got your own branding that you prefer or your own color schemes, and thinking about what you want it to look like. Maybe you have a really cutesy style brand and you want that media kit to kind of go in with that, or maybe you like the minimalist look and you want it to be a lot more cleaner and simple. Thinking about a couple of these things is really important before you start your media kit because you really want it to go in with your own branding and you want it to be very you. It's also important to do your research on the type of statistics that you're going to include in this media kit. So I'm going to go through some of the most important statistics that I feel are really important to include in a media kit, especially if you're a smaller creator, but things like engagement rate, your general demographics of geography, so maybe where a lot of your audience is from. You might have your age ranges as well. Certain statistics like that can be really helpful for brands when they are looking at your media kit and determining whether you might be the right fit for a brand deal. So again, it's really important to do the research on your own statistics. So if you're a YouTuber, then you're really going to be delving into your YouTube analytics and looking at what your average monthly statistics are. If you're an Instagrammer, you're going to be doing the same thing, but with Instagram and looking at your analytics through there. Or if you use another external site such as Metrical, I often use them to get my statistics now for a lot of my brand deals and to make sure that I've got that information in my media kit. Now we're going to be keeping this media kit really simple today, so I'm just going to be doing a one-pager, and you can create several media kits if you feel like you want one for each of your social accounts, depending on how much time you're spending on each social account. This might be more of a personal choice. At the moment, I've kind of got things combined because I don't really have a lot of social accounts for each of my brands that I currently have, and YouTube is really the main platform that I'm using. But if I had a really big Instagram, for example, and a really big YouTube channel and a really big TikTok, I may be tempted to do several media kits, but I think to simplify things today, we're just going to stick to one social media account for the media kit and really focus on that one, maybe putting in one or two statistics from other social accounts if it really fits in the kit. Another couple of things that you might want to consider putting in your media kit are some contact details. That is really important, just having an email address or having your website listed, anything else that you think is relevant for this particular brand that may be looking at your media kit. It's really important to consider that. Or also pricing, if you're looking at putting pricing into your media kit. I no longer do this, I used to, but I do find that it really depends on the brand that I'm working with as to what I'm quoting them and what they actually want. And so I found that it works for me not to put my pricing in there, but if you want to, or even to put a from price in the media kit, you can absolutely do that. And that's something that's just going to have to be considered before you make one. And it's also really good to include any previous collaborations that you might have done with other brands. If you're starting from scratch, you won't need to worry about this. But if you have done previous collaborations, whether they've been product collaborations or paid collaborations, you can actually put their logos into your media kit or some links to previous collabs as well. But for now, we're going to get straight into creating our media kit. So let's get started. So we're now here in the Picsart interface, and Picsart is an all-in-one platform of photo, video editing, and design tools. There are endless templates and graphics that you can actually get started with for free, which I really love. So you can really easily get started with creating a media kit, and everything is pretty simplified on the platform too. It's basically a drag and drop kind of thing, and you're not going to have to spend hours learning how to use the program. Everything is pretty simple and easy to use. So we're going to get started, and I'm just going to actually click on new project over here, and we can just have it as whatever dimensions are currently in there. Just 1080 by 1080 is fine. And I'm going to go create canvas. And I'm just leaving that as it is because I want to show you some of the templates that are available for media kits. So if you don't want to create one from scratch, Picsart do have a number of templates for media kits, which are really easy to use and build upon. So if we literally go up to layout up the top here, you'll see that there's plenty of different presets for layouts. So whether you're creating for YouTube thumbnails, Instagram posts, LinkedIn posts, banners, wallpapers, all the rest of it, there's so many different presets here that you can use, which makes it really easy. I'm actually going to scroll down because there is one that you'll see called Media Kit, and I'm just going to click on that. And then it actually automatically changes the dimensions of my document here. So that's really easy to just change the size of your canvas. And now that I've clicked on Media Kit, I can then go into templates over here, and you'll see that there's a heading up here that's automatically been clicked as Media Kit. So these are all the templates for media kits. And there is a few templates that are currently categorized into different categories again, so beauty services and marketing materials. So if we go to marketing materials, you'll see that there's a few different ones that you can actually use. So if we scroll down, you'll see here, if I click on this template, this is a very basic one-page media kit that you can use as a template. So it's really good because it's got a bit of a visual element, a space for a little short bio. Then it's got your followers on Instagram and YouTube, and then demographics underneath. So this is a really simplified media kit template that you can use. But there's also different ones underneath that you can also use. Again, this one's a really nice one, nicely set out, very simple and easy to read. Again, this is a very simplified video. This is not for an in-depth media kit or anything that's going to be over the top. It's just a really easy way to create a simple one-page media kit. So some of these templates are really good for that, and you can just scroll down and find one that really suits you. And there's quite a few that you can actually choose from. So depending on what kind of content you do or what kind of branding you like, you can kind of tweak it to suit your own branding or your own color scheme or whatever you may want to do. So there's quite a few templates on there that you can use, but if you just want to start from scratch, which I'm going to be doing today, I'll show you how to create one from scratch and what you can put in there, then you can just do that. So I'm just going to click and hold and press delete to get rid of all of that. And then delete the background. And then we can just go to background and we can choose a white color if you want to start off with that and just use that as your background as a clean slate. So I'm going to just start off with that. So first off, I'm actually going to use some shapes just to kind of like make a bit of a layout for my media kit. And to do this, we can just simply go into shapes here on the left-hand side. And you can scroll through some of these and find the shapes that you most want to kind of utilize. I kind of like a bit of an arch because I kind of like that softly rounded kind of effect with shapes, and it's just kind of, it goes in with my branding, I feel. I just like how it looks. So I'm actually going to change the color of this, and we're going to change it to maybe a bit more of a peachy kind of color. Those are kind of like the colors that I like to use for my branding, but you can kind of just choose whatever color you want. And then this is really just going to be a little setting there just to highlight maybe my follower count. I might tweak it as I go, but it's basically just creating part of the layout here. And I'm going to do this again, but with another shape, and maybe we'll do this time a square, and we'll kind of just bring that across. Maybe make it the same color for now. And I'm going to leave it as that for now because I'm going to put some of the brands that I've worked with at the bottom of the media kit. But in this right-hand corner here, I might put some of the demographics. I'm not entirely certain yet. So I'm just going to leave that blank for now. But I am going to insert a photo of myself, just a bit more of a professional shot. So I want to have a little bit of a space where I can have a photo just here. And an easy way to do this, so I can just drag and drop a photo into it. And the way you can do this in Picsart is actually just by going down to collages. And you'll see that there's plenty of little grids that you can actually use for photos or to insert photos into the document. So you can go to one grid if you just want a single photo to insert. So I'm liking the idea of the circle at the moment. So I'm actually just going to insert that and then make it a bit smaller. So let's put that around about here for now. And then we can put my image, my main image in here, and then kind of work from there. Now I'm feeling like the background, I kind of want to change to a slightly more creamy color. So I'm going to go to the background again. There's so many backgrounds that you can use as well in the texture section. And especially if you do have the pro version, there's such a variety of images you can use, but I'm just going to stick to a color for now. And I think that maybe using just a really light creamy color would kind of work. Don't want it to blend too much. Maybe something in just a slightly off-white color like that. Now I'm just going to move in a photo. So I'll go to my uploads And for now, I'm just going to drag this one here because it's already uploaded. So I'll just make sure to hover that over. And you can see here that I can move this across where I want it. So I'll just leave that in there. And I can also make it a little bit bigger if I want. Now I'm actually going to add some social media logos in here because I think around about this area is where I want to say how many subscribers I have on YouTube and how many subscribers I also have on Instagram, and maybe just a heading up here as well for my name and what I do. So basically I'm just going to start off with some text, and we're just going to use this, and I'll type in Kaylee June. We will make this a lot smaller. And we'll also change the coloring just to kind of have it in the middle like that. And I might just change the color of the text, make it more of a brown kind of tone. And I'm sure that will be fine for now. Maybe we'll just make it bold as well. I'm sort of not happy with how it's sitting though, so maybe I can change the font. And we can go all caps maybe. I don't know, that one's not really sitting with me very well. I think I'll need to move that eventually, but I'll just leave that there for now. That's going to be my title. So next thing is going to be getting some social media logos to fit in here. So let's go into shapes. And then you'll see if you go across here, there is a section called logos. And you'll see that there's plenty of little logos in here for social media, which is really easy access. I'm just going to use YouTube for now. I'm going to resize that and put that in there. And I'm also going to use Instagram. You can change the color of the Instagram logo here. So I might put my YouTube channel first and change the color of the Instagram logo. We might make it kind of like a pink color because it usually, I think, is, even if we just line them up for now. And then I will add some more text. And I'll just put 100K next to the YouTube icon. This is obviously a pretty important thing a lot of the time that brands are looking at. Although I wouldn't say it's the most important thing in terms of your subscribers. It's not always going to be the most important, but it definitely will be something that a lot of brands do look at as well. So I might just change the font color to that brown color again. And then I'm just going to Control C, Control V. And I'll say, I think I have about 32,000 on my Instagram. I'm not 100% sure on my photography accounts, but I'm just going to put 32 there for now. And we might actually not make this bold, the title. I might just kind of like use that. And then we'll make these a bit smaller. And here's where you can get it a little bit more decorative. You can go back into shapes and there's arrows and lines that you can use. And then you can use different lines and things to kind of just make a bit more of like a divider. I kind of like it with a touch of purple actually. So I'm going to leave that like that for now. And then I'm actually going to bring up a few extra lines and just kind of put them over here for now, kind of in line with, I guess, that. And I'll make this a bit smaller. And I'll just copy and paste some lines here. So I can fix the spacing on those a bit later. So I have talked about this in some of my videos before, but I actually really like to average any statistics out over 90 days when I'm talking about my statistics for YouTube in particular, and actually Instagram too. So I prefer to do this because it creates more of a trend of what's happening with my channel. It provides a better overview, I feel, rather than just going off the last 30 days. So if I'm looking at percentages in terms of whether it's male versus female, predominantly watching my videos, or even my engagement rate overall, I tend to do this over 90 days because I feel like it provides a better picture and a better trend. So I'm just going to select these and kind of just put them a little bit further down. I've still not really decided what I'm going to do here, but I feel that what I will do first off is I'm going to put some text in again, and I'm just going to go regular and make that a bit smaller. And first off, we are just going to go 65% female as a statistic. And we can just make that a bit smaller. We'll change the font of these in just a second. I'm going to also write down the amount of views that I get roughly per month. So on my other channel, I think it's between 40 and 50,000 on average. So let's just go 40,000 views a month. So let's just go 40K views per month. And my engagement rate, I'll put down as, let's say, for example, it might be 5% engagement rate. So what I'll do for these is I'll put the numbers in more of a bolder, kind of bigger font. And then the rest of the sentence I'll put in slightly more lighter font. We can maybe even do these in a different color. We'll see how it works out. Might even put these on separate text bars actually. Okay, so this is how I've currently got everything with the text, and I've just kind of like changed the font a little bit and just the coloring. And again, I'm going to be using these lines over here more so for the countries that will be basically my top viewership countries. So I would only put in usually about 5 of the top geographies maximum. So I'm just going to actually copy this and paste to make it really easy. So I'm going to just say United States, and we'll just copy and paste that underneath. India, usually Germany is pretty high up on my list. United Kingdom. And then we'll go Australia. And I'm just going to copy and paste the numbers as well, just make them a bit smaller. So we'll go 40%, 20%, 10%, 15%, and then 15% for Australia. So you can really just leave it as that. And then I'll actually just put in a couple of headings here with the text again. And usually I just put like a little heading in that says something along the lines of top countries. And then I would also put in a little header here just saying based on the past 90 days. And then you can actually go into the stickers section again, and once the basic information has been put into your media kit, if you've had any previous brand collabs that are potentially notable, you might actually be able to find a sticker here for that particular brand. So if I search Nikon, for example, you can see that there's a little logo here that actually can just drag and rotate and put down the bottom here. So I have done a brand collab with Nikon, so I can just put that there. I've also done one with Panasonic. So there you go. We've got another brand logo that I can just put in down the bottom here. I'm also going to add in Picsart. Why not? Put in a logo down here, and let's just leave it as that. We'll just make it really simple. I'll put these down the bottom, and then we'll add in some text down the bottom that just says previous brand collabs. We'll kind of just put this here, maybe change the font, make this a little bit smaller, and just rearrange some of these. And again, you can use things like the shapes and lines and things like that to kind of divide it. Just move that down the bottom here. I'm also going to just move this line up the top, and I'm going to put in some extra text that basically just says what kind of content creator I am. So we'll just maybe start off by saying I am a photographer and content creator. And then you can kind of position everything where you feel it needs to go. You might want to move things around a bit. Maybe you might want to move this so it's a little bit more uniform. So I've just gone ahead and altered some of the fonts and the colors and that just to make it a little bit prettier and a little bit more spaced out, just because I wasn't really happy with how some of the elements were sitting before. But now I've pretty much fixed it in terms of where I want it. And the last thing that I'm going to do is a bit more of a finishing touch, which you can also do, especially if you've got visual photography work or anything like that in your content creation. You can actually put a few little examples like down the bottom or around your media kit, wherever you like. So going back to collages over here, and if you wanted to make these a little bit smaller in terms of the previous brand collabs, for example, you could fit in more imagery. And then I can just move this where I want, and then I can add more if I like. And even just put these in the middle. Just kind of helps to add a little bit more of a visual kind of touch by having some extra shots in there, extra photos or examples of your work, even if that's something that you would like to do. And there you go, there's basically a really simple example of a media kit, and I hope you really enjoyed this video and learned something new from it. I would love to do more videos on how to create really in-depth media kits as well, but this is just a really great option for a simple one-pager. This only took me a very short amount of time to make, so this is really easy if you haven't made a media kit before and you really want to get started with creating one. You can easily get onto a program like Picsart and start making one for free, and I just think that it's a really, really good way to compile everything into one spot. And I really do think that every content creator needs to have one. So again, as I said, you don't have to do these from scratch. There are already some templates on Picsart which you can actually use easily to start your own media kit and just kind of build upon what's already there. You don't have to start from scratch like I did here. And to be honest, look, if it were me starting from scratch, I'd probably spend even a little bit more time just making sure I'm perfecting the branding and the color scheme and everything. Obviously, I've just chosen like a really random color scheme for this particular media kit and just felt like I wanted to show you the basics of how to create one and what you should be including. But I hope you really enjoyed this video and learned something new, and let me know down in the comments if you'd like to see more videos like this one. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video today and I hope you found it really helpful. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and make sure to click the notification bell so you can see all the videos that I have coming up in future. If you'd like to see more videos like this from me, definitely let me know in the comment section below, and let me know how you're going with making your own media kit and whether you've already made one or whether you're looking at refreshing one in the near future. A quick reminder, if you'd like to check out Picsart, the link is in the description box below. But thank you so much as always for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.